How to enjoy being a teenager. 4 parts. Setting realistic expectations. Developing yourself. Developing relationships. Helping others. Being a teenager can be difficult with your hormones going wild, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the teen years. If you're looking to have enjoyable teenage years, there are many things you can do, big and small, that can make a huge difference. Part 1: Setting realistic expectations. 1. Understand that there's no one way to be a teen and no set-in-stone way to enjoy your teenager years. Everyone is different, especially in their teenage years. There's really no way to enjoy being a teenager except for the way you make on your own. Some teens prefer to spend their teenage years with friends, while others prefer to study and work. Some prefer to be quiet wallflowers, while others are loud and don't care if they stand out. Saying that there's any one way to enjoy your teenage years is wrong. This article is only a guideline and doesn't need to be followed to the letter. What is enjoyable for you may not be for someone else, and that is okay. Some things are commonly enjoyed by teens, but not by all. Turning 13 does not mean suddenly you wake up and everything has changed. 2. Avoid media-based expectations, good or bad. Being a teenager is not necessarily any easier or more difficult than any other life stage. Although adolescence is a time of great change, this does not necessarily mean it will be the most difficult time of your life. If you get wound up with concerns that this new life stage will be fraught with ever-present drama, the truth is that this is just another stage of your life which you will get through as much as you did toddlerhood long ago. Remember, the media presents teenagers inaccurately. Teens and their lives are often very narrowly portrayed on TV, movies, and literature. Be careful on basing your assumptions on what it is like to be an adolescent based on the Disney Channel, MTV, or High School Musical, as well as some of the older shows such as The Brady Bunch or Father Knows Best. These are typically fictional stories that, while may dramatize aspects of secondary education, may not be your reality. Likewise, be careful of comparing yourself or others to actors in teenage dramas. Often these actors are in their 20s, sometimes even 30s, atypically model-like, spectacularly talented, and otherwise not necessarily be like your reality. The homemade videos on YouTube that feature actual teenagers are far more realistic and accurate than the movies and TV. Many teen movies, especially the older ones, have become nostalgia films for adults. For example, The Breakfast Club, and many shows on Disney and Nickelodeon are designed for children. 3. Realize that the teen years are not all alike. There are 6 years between 13 and 19, and there are a lot of differences between them. Middle school is different than high school, which is different than beginning the adult work world, college, or trade school. The awkward, lanky 13-year-old may be a confident military-bound individual at 18. Part 2: Developing yourself. 1. Develop your sense of self, focusing more on your own thoughts and goals, instead of what other people think. For lots of people, the teenage years are full of worries. Stop paying so much attention to them. Many worries are based on what other people think. For example, what if they don't like me after this? Or what if my mom gets mad that I don't study medicine like she wants? Rather than what you think. Go ahead and do what you want to do, without factoring in the opinion of others. Dye your hair a wacky color, wear what's comfortable and not what's trendy, call your crush, choose your own path in life, and don't worry about what others think of your choices. At the end of the day, it's your life, so live it the way you want to. Of course, there are some limits to this. You may want to speak your mind, for example, and it's okay to have your opinions, but you don't want to offend people or start an argument in an inappropriate place. Some social rules, such as not hitting annoying people, are important to follow. Learn when it's important to listen to social rules, and not what you think. 2. Discover and engage in your interests. When you were younger, people always told you to find hobbies, and chances are, you have at least a few basic interests that you can engage in. Use these to your advantage. Can you pick something you want to practice and dedicate more time towards, for example, playing an instrument, or delve into a subcategory of your interest, for example, moving from simple writing to writing poetry or literature? Don't be afraid to try new things. It's never too late to check out a new interest, and, who knows, maybe you'll even find your life passion by doing so. Consider balancing your interests so that you have a wide variety. For example, if your biggest hobby is computer programming, maybe try a more art-oriented hobby like painting, or learn a language. Just because you're a tech nerd or an art geek doesn't mean your interests have to stick firmly in that area. It's boring to have interests that are only in one area. Explore your style and your interests. Now is the time to experiment. Don't feel the need to stick to just one niche. From fashion to hobbies to music and movies, you can explore all kinds of possible interests. Don't feel bound by tradition or labels. If you like to dress like someone who likes rock music, and you really love country music, that's fine. Do what you enjoy. 3. Let go of your prejudices. Even if you think you're not prejudiced, sometimes negative thoughts about groups of people can root in your mind. Buried prejudices against religious groups, racial groups, LGBT groups, and so on, can taint your ability to see the world clearly. Let go of these. Nobody is exactly like a stereotype, and seeing groups of people as just like those other ones inhibits knowing people for who they truly are. On a smaller scale, stop thinking badly about people you've had bad experiences with. Unless this person has caused you physical and/or mental harm, they're probably not as bad as you think they are. And if all you know about this person comes from outside sources and not the person themselves, you don't even know if those rumors are true. You don't have to be BFFs with them, but be civil and respectful to them, maybe even try being friendly. They might surprise you and be much different than your image of them. 4. Work on your work ethic. Yes, school can be very hard work, but in your teenage years, it matters more than ever. What you accomplish in your teen years may determine in large part your opportunities in your adult life. Dedicate some time to studying and do your best to do well in middle school and high school. Aim to get things done as soon as possible instead of procrastinating. Learn how to prioritize, whether it's with school, work, or any extracurricular activities you may be involved in. Boost your studying skills, and even make it fun. It may not seem enjoyable, but it's helpful later on in life, and some teens, not only the nerds, do find it enjoyable. You don't have to be an all-A's student that's taking only honors or AP-level classes, but you should at least do your best to pass the classes you're in. Avoid slacking off, as this hurts your grades. Don't rush on your homework because you want to hang out with friends. Work on it to learn new things. A largely forgotten fact is that school is meant for learning, not trapping you in a classroom for a few hours each day. 5. Avoid rushing to figure out who you are. Your teenage years are hectic, ever-changing, and chances are, your interests will constantly shift and change. Nothing about yourself is set in stone, even at the end of your teenage years. You will continue to grow and develop as a person as long as you're alive. There's no need to figure yourself out and decide what you are at your age. Anyone who tells you that you need to figure out what college you're going to or what you plan for the future is wrong. Even if you think you've decided on what you're going to do, don't be surprised if your plans change. You never know where life is going to take you. Part 3: Developing Relationships. 1. Work to improve your social skills. Some teens have trouble with social interaction, with the reasons behind it varying. Since social interaction is necessary in order to succeed, it's important to learn how to cope with shyness and social anxiety. Consider working with a friend or a family member of close age to develop your social skills. It may not replace new social exchanges, but it's good practice. Autistic teens and other disabilities, mental illnesses such as ADHD or social anxiety disorder, may have notable difficulty with social interaction. If you're an autistic teen, try learning how to develop better social skills, read other people's body language, and understand figurative language and sarcasm. It's important to learn how to interact in a neurotypical world. If you have ADHD or related disorder, you can learn to not interrupt others, dominate the conversation, focus on the other person or task at hand, etc. 2. Be polite towards those you don't know well. Every day, you likely see people you don't know, whether it be in school or out in public. It may seem funny to make fun of those that you don't know, but it's rude, and word will get back to them eventually. Later in life, you'll have to work with people you don't know. It's best to be polite towards strangers. If you can manage it, be friendly as well. It's appreciated by those around you, even if you don't see it. If somebody you don't know has a clumsy moment that makes others laugh at them, such as dropping their books everywhere, don't laugh, and instead help them pick them up if you have the time. It's a nice thing to do, and they will likely appreciate it, even though they may not show it. 3. Have a few close friends. You don't need to be at the top of the social food chain and know everybody at school, but you should at least try to have a few loyal friends throughout your teenage years. Friendships are a good place to build your social skills, and building stable relationships with others can help you determine what you want in friendships and romantic relationships you may pursue. And most importantly of all, life is simply easier and brighter with friends. Make sure your friends make you feel good about yourself and don't get you in trouble. You want to enjoy your teen years, not spend them miserable because of your friends. Find friends who make you feel good and inspire you to be your best. Hang out with friends you really like, and worry less about maintaining relationships with people who don't improve your life. Friends come and go, and you may have different types and numbers of friends. That's okay. How many friends you have isn't important, it's the quality of the friends you do have that matters, as cliché as that sounds. If you struggle to find friends, try looking in areas where people are similar to you. Are you LGBT, for example? See if there's a teen LGBT group in your city, or if your school has a GSA that you could join. If you prefer writing over socializing, see if you can find writers' groups. If you're autistic, try seeking out other autistic people to befriend. Try going on social media if you can't find friends face-to-face. However, be very careful with this. Online friendships develop much differently than face-to-face friendships, and many people online are not who they say they are. You never know what goes on behind the screen. Sometimes it may not be even an actual human you are talking to. Exercise caution when making friends online, and never agree to meet up with somebody in private. Avoid giving out personal information to people you meet online unless you are sure that they can be trusted. It is best to meet people in real life first before meeting them on the internet. 4. Take romance slowly. Some, but not all, teens are interested in romantic relationships, and may want to find a partner. If you get into a relationship, take it slowly and communicate with your partner well. This leads to the healthiest relationships in the long run. You don't need to be tethered to your partner, either. Make sure the relationship allows the both of you to have your own friends and interests. You don't need to rush into anything before you're ready. If your relationship ends, it's not the end of the world. You may be tempted to swear off of dating forever, especially if you were badly hurt, but keep an open mind. People grow and change. A relationship that would have worked 6 months ago may turn out to be extremely destructive now. And remember, few couples stay together during or after high school, whether it's because of long distance or other factors. Be wary of abusive relationships. If you feel like you have to constantly walk on eggshells around your partner to try and avoid them getting angry at you or hitting you, or if you can't talk to anybody else without your partner accusing you of cheating, these are huge red flags that the relationship is unhealthy and that you need to get out of it. The same applies for toxic friendships. 5. Keep good relations with your family. Family members, especially parents, probably worry about you during your teenage years. Many teenagers become sullen, withdrawn, and stop valuing family as much as they used to. Try to avoid this. Family is one of the most important connections in your life. It's the building blocks for all relationships you develop, whether they're friendships, romantic relationships, or a family that you choose to have later on in life. And plus, you see them every day, why not make it nice to spend time with them? You don't have to be best friends with everyone in your family, but be kind to them and spend time with them once in a while. Play a video game with your sister, help your brother with his writing, offer to go on a walk with your mom, or play a board game with your dad. Don't just stay in your room all day and only see your family at meals. Improve your relationship with your siblings. It's fine to argue and bicker with siblings here and there, but remember that your sibling relationship is usually one of the longest in your life. Siblings can be great allies, mentors, and friends, not just now, but also when you're old and gray. Watch out for abusive family members. Your family can be some of the closest friends you have, but they can also negatively impact your life. If your parents constantly make you feel down, they may be emotionally abusing you. If your brother constantly hits you, that's a sign of physical abuse. Usually, talking things out with a close friend or confronting your abuser can lessen the hurt, but know when to report child abuse. Keep close to your extended family, such as your cousins. 2. Make an effort to spend time with them when you can. You probably don't see your extended family often, so take advantage of the time you do have to hang out with them. Part 4: Helping others. 1. Consider volunteer work. You may not be interested in volunteering or attaining a job, that's okay. Helping out others is only a recommendation. However, many volunteers report that their work makes them feel good. Some volunteer work can even help with self-development. Consider the benefits and drawbacks of volunteer work or jobs, and use this to decide whether you'll help others out. 2. Avoid thinking that you can't help anybody. You don't have to get a job when you're a teenager, and when you're under a certain age, it's nearly impossible to find one, but that doesn't mean that you're unable to help out. Consider volunteering, doing odd jobs for others, or helping someone to learn something they don't know. This can do wonders to help other people. It will be helpful for future employment after college to have a job or volunteer so you can have valuable work experience. Volunteering doesn't have to happen outside of the home. If you have an internet connection, you can volunteer online. For example, editing WikiHow articles about your favorite subjects. 3. Build off of your interests and talents. Are you interested in animals? Volunteer at an animal shelter or collect supplies for your local nonprofit shelter. Are you good with people? Find a job or volunteer work that's oriented around talking to others. Can you design complex web pages with minimal effort? Offer to help others learn web design. Take your talents and interests and find something you can do based around those. It can be a great help to volunteer or work, and have fun at the same time. 4. Consider tutoring younger kids. If one of your talents is that you're an all-A's scholar, see if there's a program at your school that allows you to tutor struggling students. If not, try asking families that have younger kids or advertising a tutoring service. You may get some great opportunities. It's okay to turn down a tutoring offer. If you can't tutor the neighbor's son because he's too loud and disruptive, or if you aren't good at a subject that somebody needs help with, it's okay to politely say, "I'm sorry, I can't do that job," or "I don't think your child and I work together very well." You can either choose to get paid for tutoring or do it for free. If you do choose to make it a job, however, don't overcharge. Few people will hire you if you charge $10 an hour. 5. Participate in fundraisers and activities for causes you support. Some organizations will host activities to donate to certain causes. For example, walks to support cancer research collect money and donate it to groups that do cancer research. Other activities seek to spread awareness of illnesses, or acceptance of disabled people. Consider participating in these. Be sure you know what group the activity is supporting. Some groups are well known for being surrounded by controversy. Do careful research on an organization before participating in any of their events. You don't want to support something that causes more harm than good. 6. Do things that make others happy. You don't need to participate in giant volunteer organizations to make a difference. Consider doing basic things to help people have a brighter day. Compliment your classmates' poem. Tell someone they look fantastic. Help somebody pick up their things if they drop them. Hold the door open for others who are struggling to carry things, and so forth. Something that seems little to you can turn someone else's entire day around. Get out there, and help to make the world a better place by making others' lives more enjoyable. Tips. Traveling can be a great way of developing yourself. However, this isn't necessary for self-growth, and it's okay if you can't travel. Don't aim to be normal, because there is no such thing as normal when you are a teenager. Everybody is developing and trying to find themselves. This is your time to experiment. Remember, not everyone enjoys their teens, that's just a fact of life. However, if you don't enjoy your teens, concentrate on being kind to others and getting through it. Just because you were dealt a bad hand in life doesn't mean that you should throw the deck on the table and give up. Many teenagers deal with tons of drama. Remember, the less drama you get yourself into, the happier you are in life. School doesn't have to be boring, make the most of it. This is the time when people are transitioning into adulthood and taking on new responsibilities, so do your homework, try your best, and make friends.